It is time to crown your champion. It's been a grueler of a season. We've seen ups and downs of so many drivers looking for chances to grab the championship. Tonight is a night of celebration, and it is certainly going to be a special one for one of these drivers that gets into victory lane and could it also be hoisting a championship. The Trinity Racing League was a group of drivers that wanted to come together to continue racing on Monday night. They put on a great community. The sponsors have arrived, the fans have arrived, and the drama is here as well. Let the final race of the chase begin as we're green.
Good evening, race fans, and for the final time in the Trinity Racing League season, this evening, we are settling a championship out here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Live here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, we're bringing you the green flag action for the next 150 laps around the desert here in Nevada. Joining me out here tonight to help me call the action for the next 150 laps is my co-host Chris Rose and Alex Matheny.
How you guys doing out here tonight? Glad to be back here, especially for this championship race. I love Vegas, so it's going to be one to watch. It's going to be a real show on the road.
You couldn't have said it better, Chris. This is going to be the season's closing out. This is the championship race. I can only imagine when it's coming down to the line, it'll be bare knuckles from here on out.
18 races getting set to be put in the books out here for season 2 of the Trinity Racing League, and it comes down to 5 drivers who are mathematically eligible for the championship out here tonight. Thomas Green, Scott Richter, Cedric Hunter, Ali Fonseca, and Nolan Hicks. We'll take a look at the top 4 coming into tonight's event. Mathematically, 5 drivers eligible to win the championship out here this evening. Thomas Green already 3 wins on the season, the most of the 4, but the least, not the least, close enough to the least. 5 top 5s on the season for Thomas Green. He had a really great playoffs over these past couple of weeks. Scott Richter comes in second in the points, just 7 points behind Thomas Green. Cedric Hunter trails by 9 on his way in. Ali Fonseca 12 points out. There's 4 bonus points up for grabs. We'll talk about those as the race goes along here this evening. And then not pictured in here, but also has a chance to win the championship, is Nolan Hicks, who is 17 points back off of Thomas Green, the points leader coming into tonight's race.
And I know Josh was talking to us in the pre-race about Nolan Hicks. If he has a great qualifying run, he's going to have a really good chance at securing a good position for the end of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, not your traditional rounds of playoffs out here. No eliminations. They had a 5-race chase to the championship that leads us here tonight to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for 150 laps. But at the end of 5 races, still got 5 championship eligible drivers, and we're about to kick over to our qualifying session to determine who gets the first bonus point of the night. 1 bonus point is awarded to the pole sitter out here, and then it's followed up by a lap led, most laps led, the halfway spot as well. So chances to cut into that lead early As the track goes quiet, but not for long, we've got cars starting to make their way out on the track. Ben Kinney, one of the first ones to light up down on pit road. He's going to begin rolling that number 51 M&M's Ford Mustang on the exit of pit road here. We're looking to see if we can find any of our championship contenders, and one of them is already making his way through the apron. That is Scott Richter, the driver that comes in here tonight just 7 points out of the championship lead.
Scott's gonna be real hungry to be fast on these first 2 laps in qualifying. You're probably gonna see a lot of drivers, well, pretty much every driver, to run that top line of 3 and 4 to just get as much of a run out of the corner as they can, keep the RPMs high, and get as much speed for the front stretch and their run up as they can. And we're gonna see Scott Richter doing exactly that, and we're gonna see how his first lap is going to be.
Other drivers out on track right now: Noah Steele, Nick Renner, Nolan Hicks, Chris Stamper, Ali Fonseca. Ali Fonseca going to be starting here tonight's race with an end of longest line penalty. So he is eligible to win the pole, but then will be starting from the rear of the field, trying to get that bonus point for the pole position out here tonight as he comes in 12 points back. That is the 24 of Ali Fonseca. Multiple championship eligible drivers out on track right now, but for the time being, it's all eyes on the 05 of Scott Richter.
Scott's able to put down a 31-0 here, and that's not too bad of a time. I've heard a lot of people were saying the track was pretty loose, and we see it's a pretty not a bad time, seeing that it's Chris Stamper and I believe that is, I can't remember his first name, but the 57 was able to get a little bit of a slower time. So you see that Scott Richter actually put down a pretty good lap here, and is in a good position to actually have the pole for this race.
Second time by for Scott Richter, gonna go to the top of the charts. That's gonna bring our attention over to Ali Fonseca. Comes in here tonight 4th in the points. He's got Larry on the hood, trying to do him proud out here this evening. First time by was 3rd. Make it 4th as more drivers come up to the timer charts.
Hey, gotta forgive me, Thomas. I did forget your name, Thomas Walton. He was the one who's the 57 out there.
Fonseca going to complete lap number 2 at the desert. See if he's able to improve on lap number 2. And it is going to be an improvement. At the top of the board is Ali Fonseca for the time being. Nolan Hicks, going to be a long shot out here tonight for Nolan Hicks. Comes in 17 points out of the championship lead, but not insurmountable, just certainly very difficult. And then that brings us to this man. This is the championship points leader, the winner that's got 3 wins on the season so far in Season 2 of the Trinity Racing League. It's going to bring us over to Thomas Green, the driver of the number 3 Chevy Camaro. He's going to rip the top around the Speedway here as he attempts to keep the RPMs up, make his way through turns 3 and 4, and he's going to see the green flag for his qualifying attempts.
Another fun fact for Thomas Green, he's actually the 3rd most laps led out here in the Trinity Racing Lead, only beat by Ryan Kelly and Jared Talmadge.
Halfway down the backstretch, first time by was good enough for make it 18th on the board, the slowest of any driver who has posted a time so far. But this second lap, he was down towards that white line in both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Second time by for the championship points leader, going to go to the top of the board, put Thomas Green to the top of the charts. Cody Reed finishing up his second lap here in this Toyota Supra. Cody good enough to slot into 4th place. Cedric Hunter finishes his second lap. He's going to come across in 5th. That's going to bring us over to one of the administrators here of the Trinity Racing League, Josh Canada, last week's winner at Phoenix Raceway. I told Josh, I was giving him a hard time. I said, man, I've been here 17 weeks, and the 1 week that I'm not here, you go out there and get the win. We'll see if Josh can go 2 in a row out here tonight. First time by 19th.
Yeah, we heard he was the main person telling us about how loose the car can be on the track. So maybe he's struggling with a little bit of the looseness he was telling us about, and probably going to see a lot of drivers struggle with that during the green flag run.
Just a couple of seconds remain in qualifying. Josh Canada going to jump up to, we'll call it 5th place here as qualifying going to come to a close out here, and that's going to push us into our 5-minute warm-up out here. And well, I tell you what, anytime we come to the playoffs, Alex and Chris, anytime we come to a playoffs, you kind of expect one driver to run away with it. We're sitting here with 150 laps to go in the season, and you got 5 drivers that can win this championship tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty, I'd say that's a pretty tall tale to say. You know, 150 laps is being the last threshold for you at the end of the season. You know, it's a hard place to be in, and you're going to see a lot of drivers like Nolan Hicks and Ollie Fonseca just trying to be really aggressive to get good positions early in the race and try to hold those.
So, Alex, if you're Thomas Green, you've got a 7-point lead over your nearest competitor, Scott Richter, and you got 9 over Cedric Hunter coming in. You got 3 wins on the season, though. You got to kind of run this race business as usual, or do you run it a little bit more conservatively, knowing you've got a little bit of a buffer coming into tonight?
I would say business as usual. I mean, it ain't over till it's over. So I mean, I don't know. You don't want to give any leeway for the drivers behind you if I'm in that position. But yeah, I would say business as usual.
Well, we'll see.
Celebrate when the season's over.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Got 225 miles of racing to go before Trinity Racing League crowns their next champion here, and it would be a first-time championship for any of these 5 drivers out here this evening. Checking in on to our YouTube chat, who you guys are rooting for, who you guys want to see go out to victory lane out here tonight, who you guys want to see hoist that championship trophy at the end of the night. Let us know. Put your picks in, and we will follow their races along here this evening. Head on over to some of these cars on an active track right now in the closing minutes of the final warm-up of the season.
Hey Tom, you asked the chat about some of the picks for tonight. What are your picks out here? And same to you, Alex. What are you guys rooting for? Because I know who I am.
Well, I tell you what, Scott Richter has been coming on strong here these past couple of weeks, and hasn't always had the finishes that he probably deserved throughout the season, but quiet season for the driver of the 5 of Scott out there. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Scott up there challenging for the win out here tonight. The challenging part, though, for Scott is that he needs Thomas Green, who's got 3 wins on the season, to have a bad night.
I can't say that I have a favorite picked out, but I mean, from a driver's standpoint, this has to be nerve-wracking for those top 5 being so close in points coming down to the wire. It's anybody's championship to grab, but from a fan standpoint, you gotta love it. It's gonna be a nail-biter.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point to bring up about it being a nail-biter, to be honest. It's all those drivers up top are going to be fighting all the nerves throughout the entire race, and couldn't have said it any better, to be honest. But my pick out here is probably going to be the 3 of Thomas Green. You know, he had a really unfortunate break last week with getting into Ryan Kelly on that restart, and I mean, you got to just, for me, I'd say, and I'm a root for him here. He's not really the underdog, you know. He's kind of the one who's projected to win, but he's coming off such an unfortunate week. You got to just put some faith in it, you know. And I don't know. He's been real strong here at Trinity. So.
And let's not count out any of the other 18 drivers out here this evening, as there is 23 drivers who have made their way out here for the season finale here tonight for the Do It in the Desert 225 this evening at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. All those drivers are trying to, maybe some of them, trying to get their first win of the season, like Mike Miller here. I just completely blanked on his name, but Mike Miller here looking to get his first win on the season.
Yeah, we got a lot of people like Mike Miller, like Cody Reed, Noah Steele. I'm just looking at the list right now of a lot of people who don't really have a win here. And like you said, don't count everybody out. You know, everybody's still going to be hungry for a win. They're just putting our main focus on that top 5.
Well, one of the Championship 5 eligible drivers doesn't have a win, and that is Scott Richter.
That is Scott Rickard, yeah.
Imagine getting your first win here in the race that it matters the most. 225 miles of racing to determine who's going to get it. See some picks out there for Cedric Hunter. See some picks out there for Ollie Fonseca. Might be a little bit of a biased pick out there, but Good to see you, Larry, one more time here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Thanks for checking in every single Monday night. Happy to have you along with us here. 5 seconds remaining out in warm-up, and that means it's about time to set the grid for tonight's race. Barney's going to wave that flag. Drivers being given the command to make their way down into the cars and put those window nets up one more time here in Season 2 of the Trinity Racing League. Let's grab the starting lineup for tonight's event. Starting on the pole out here tonight and snagging the bonus point, the ever so important bonus point out here tonight, is Thomas Green, championship leader coming into tonight's event. Larry Yingling starts on the outside of row number 2. Ali Fonseca qualifies third on speed, but will be taking a penalty pre-race from the race control here at the Trinity Racing League. So that's going to kind of move everybody around one spot. Cody Reed qualifies fourth on speed. Josh Kanata rolls off from the top 5 position. Cedric Hunter starts 6th out here tonight with Sam Garcia in 7th. The driver Chase and Thomas Green. Scott Rickard starts 8th out here tonight. 9th place belongs to Mike Miller, and 10th is Ryan Berg.
You've got Noah Steele in that number 8 machine in 11th, and Mark Labertone in 12th. Josh DeVell in 13th, Nick Renner in 14th, Stephen Clapp in 15th, Thomas Walter behind him in the 57 and 16th, Nolan Hicks in 17th, Ben Kinney in 18th, Chris Stamper in 19th, as well as Isaac Shelley in 20th.
Rounding out our field of 23 drivers out here tonight, Chris Stitz in the 17 rolls off 21st this evening for the final race of the season. Martin Morales Jr. in the 91 qualifies 22nd, and 23rd place belongs to Joshua Sawyer. All right, it's almost go time, and that means we got one more time to give a thanks to the pole sitter and grid sponsor out here. That is Blazing Fast TV. If you're looking for a chill and relaxed stream, race on over to Blazing Fast TV on Twitch and YouTube today to check out a live point of view of Dakota Moniz as he races. Drop a follow, subscribe to stay up to date when he goes live and posts content. Blazing Fast TV, the pole sitter, grid sponsor of the Trinity Racing League. Championship race feels a little bit different for those 5 championship eligible drivers. Again, Thomas Green, Scott Rickard, Cedric Hunter, Ali Fonseca, Nolan Hicks in order as they enter into tonight's race. Butterfly's got to start to be feeling a little funky inside those machines as everybody begins to roll down here into turn number 1.
Yeah, those Butterflies is definitely going crazy for these drivers right now. They're probably itching to go, those first 5. They just want to get away from everybody and just start running their laps and get into a groove so they don't got to worry about those nerves anymore.
Well, and we heard fuel mileage is about 50 laps out here tonight, and with the race scheduled for about that here, I mean, you could be looking at a fuel mileage race. We saw it last week at Phoenix Raceway, which Josh Kanata picking up the win at Phoenix, so what could it be out here tonight? You see Ali Fonseca fall into the back of the field, but the field underneath the care of Thomas Green and Larry Yingling here as we see the lights out on the pace car, and that means it's time to settle a championship.
As it is, as they enter turn 3, they're getting ready. Everybody's getting loud, tapping that gas pedal, revving their car up, just making sure it's all good, and getting those nerves somewhere, putting the nerves somewhere they can.
For the final time this season, pace car going to be down and out of the way, going to make a hard left-hand turn down pit road, and we're going to head on up to Barney the Flagman as he gets set to send this field of 23 drivers on their way. It's championship night in Las Vegas.
Green. Thomas Green seems to have a great start here. Just like the green flag, his name sends him out front and Prevail. Gets a good entry into 1, able to, I believe, clear the 67, but I think the 67 is going to have a great run off.
Green still on the inside of Larry Yingling as they race their way out of turn number 2 for the first time by of 150 out here tonight. Larry Yingling up on the outside, able to take control of the race by the time lap number 1 is done, and it's going to be a race at the front of the field with Larry Yingling leading lap number 1.
the dugout shot in 3 and 4 was great there on the first lap. You got to see a lot of the way the cars are pitching and rotating through the corner. You saw basically the back end kind of looks like they're drifting through the corner, and it is fast to do that in these cars, but you got to wonder how much that's going to hurt the rear right tire.
Larry Yingling able to step out by about 5, maybe 6 car lengths as they enter into turn number 3 on lap number 2 out here. The battles are behind here. Thomas Green settles in behind Cody Reed as we have our first yellow flag of the evening. And it may be, I see Nick Renner around sideways on the front stretch, possibly Martin Morales Jr. as well. Let's stick with Nick here and see if we can't find exactly what happens with the driver, the number 88. Lap number 2 here on the outside in that blue and yellow 88 Chevy Camaro. Got the 53 directly below him. I want to say this is 3 and 4. And just going to be contact between those two vehicles.
Yeah, it looks like the 53 washes up just a little bit. Not really wary of the cold tires there and how slippery the track can be, and just gets into the rear left of the 88. It's able to keep it clean and away from the other cars, so it might just be a few tires and come out of the pit lane for the 88, but unfortunate break for him there.
Another look at it here from on board the Ford Mustang of Chris Stamper as we take a slow roll through 3 and 4. Going to make contact right front to left rear. That's going to send the 88 around. The 53 is going to continue on without much issue. Couple of cars already on pit road. Stephen Clapp, driver the number 9. Josh Sawyer. Martin Morales already on pit road here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that has to do with a fuel strategy. But going back to that replay, honestly, I couldn't really tell if Chris Stamper washed up or if the 88 came down. From the in-car, it looked like the 88 came down, but from the outside view, it did kind of look like Chris Stamper did move up a little bit on him. But going back to the pit lane drivers, I do believe that probably has to do with a pit strategy out here, because I believe you said it was a 50 lap threshold for the fuel, so they're probably just coming in trying to get a little bit extra on there just to overcut some of the people.
Lights illuminated on the pace car for the first time here tonight. Larry Yingling able to steal away a bonus point for a lap led out here tonight. Larry Yingling, one of the championship playoff drivers coming into the 5-race stretch tonight, comes in just outside of championship eligibility as he comes into tonight's 6th in the points. It's got Cody Reed directly behind him here as we see the yellow flags out for the first time this evening for a contact incident in turns 3 and 4 on lap number 2 between the 53 and the 88. We've got a second here while these drivers, I assume, are going to get the one to go here. We got a second here. Let's grab one more look at it between the 88 and the 53 here. Maybe get a better look between these two drivers.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the 88 might have came down a little bit. It's kind of one of those cases where the cars look like they came into each other, but the 88 definitely looked like he got a little loose on the top of the track and the car started to point downward. But Chris Stamper also looked like he started to wash up a little bit. So not sure we can really see a fault of one of those two drivers here, but Jeff, definitely a product of cold tires.
Well, and you talk about drivers that, put themselves in harm's way to start tonight's race. You had Ali Fonseca taking a penalty to start tonight's race, had to start at the rear of the field. He had to drive through that. Didn't have any issues getting through there, but one wrong swerve, one wrong move could have ended the 24's championship hopes, but not the case out here. Ali Fonseca already up to 11.
Yeah, one wrong move could have absolutely ended any sort of championship attempts for him there. So glad he was able to make it through, but a lot of these drivers are coming here, getting ready to go green flag once again for the Dude in the Desert 225.
Larry Yingling, the control car, elects to take the outside lane here for this first restart of the evening. Started second out here tonight. Front row looks like just what it did at the start of tonight's race. One yellow flag for incident in the early goings of tonight's event. All 23 drivers still on track. Larry Yingling's first one to hit the loud pedal. He's going to drop down in front of Thomas Green by the time they make their way down into turn number 1. Green protecting second place from Cedric Hunter and Cody Reed.
Seems like the battles here are going pretty well between these front four, as Cody Reed's getting a little bit of a gap on Cedric Hunter here, able to clear him off of 4. And now Thomas Green is going to be looking to the inside of Larry England here after having such a good run off of 3 and 4. Now has help from the drivers behind.
At the front of the field, Thomas Green says, I want a bonus point. Already snuck away a bonus point for picking up the pole position out here this evening. Now wants a bonus point for leading a lap as well, as there's a little bit of trouble in the back of the field. Mark Labertone bounces off the wall, keeps going in the right direction. Battle for the lead at the front of the field. Thomas Green looking for another bonus point out here tonight, looking to extend his points lead here tonight in the championship race. Going to have to wait at least one more lap, as by the eye test, Larry England led that lap.
Yeah, only by the slightest fraction of an amount, but Thomas is going to be hungry for that bonus point in these next few laps, so you're definitely going to see him hunting for it on the inside. Oh, right as he says that, he moves right up to the outside behind him.
He's going to settle back into second place behind the 67 of Yingling, as Yingling once again steps out by a car length or 2, as we have more battles happening directly behind this group. Battle for third place, Cedric Hunter on the inside in that Toyota Supra, trying to move forward here tonight, already up 3 spots from his qualifying effort. Hunter comes in tonight 9 points down. The issue is that the guy he's chasing is in front of him.
Yeah, definitely not the position you want to be in if you're the 7 car here. He's the guy, like you said, the guy oh, here's a caution now. I'm going to hold what I'm about to say.
Issues for Chris Stamper in the 53. Let's back this up and let's take a look at what happens over here to the 53 of Chris Stamper. Second time we see the 53 involved in something or other out here this evening. He's going to have the 17 of Chris Stitz directly below him on the backstretch here, and we're going to have to take another look or two at that, because that is that's hard to call just from there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was a bad block or if the 17 may have barely got into him, but we're going to be able to have a chance to see it again.
Taking a look here, kind of a really bad spot for the 53 to be in front of the 88. Funny how that happens. Chris Stamper going to slide down just a little bit, come across the right front of Chris Stitz, and that is going to tell the tale of 2 stories here. The 53 going to make hard contact with the outside wall. Stephen Clapp gets around. Martin Morales Jr. gets around. Ben Kinney gets around without issue, as we have our second yellow flag of the evening.
I kind of wonder if the 53 had a little bit of contact with the 88 at the tail end, or at the beginning of that incident, because it didn't look like that that Chris Stamper just came straight down. It kind of looked like the car wiggled a little bit, so I'm not sure if maybe got a push and the back end got a little bit loose and he couldn't control it, but unfortunate for the 53 car here.
Well, let's take one more look here. He got on board with Chris Stamper. This is kind of in a staggered 3 wide situation here. And then I believe he's just going to try to make a left-hand turn down into turn number 3, try to follow.
I don't know. The car, it really looks like he might have got a little touch, but I'm not, I really can't tell. Because the car kind of points down in the middle of the corner, or well, in the middle of the entry of the corner.
Yeah, I don't see any contact between the 88 and the 53, but there's definitely contact between the 17 and the 53 on the entry to turn 3 there.
Yeah, what I was probably seeing was the contact between the right front of the 17 and the 53.
A couple of cars made their way on and off pit road through this round of yellow flags. Martin Morales Jr., Stephen Clapp, Chris Stitz. A couple of drivers running towards the back of the field here this evening. Drivers got 5 tire sets to use this evening, with one of them already being used.
Let's talk about Vegas, though, as a track, Tom. How do you like this track here? I know it can be a little bit technical sometimes, especially depending on track temp. So what do you think about the track here that they're running at for the finale?
Well, Las Vegas, Texas, Auto Club, all those kind of tracks, they run really well. You'll be able to see some defensive lines up on the top side as green flag runs go along and the good starts to get off the Goodyear. So I think once we start to get into some longer green flag runs out here tonight, it's going to provide some great multi-groove racing, especially up along that outside wall that we have seen all season long, especially in these O'Reilly cars. But these O'Reilly cars are so unforgiving. You tap the wall in the wrong way, and you've broken a toe or a suspension link, and you're done for the night.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely something that the defending drivers who do, in fact, decide to run that top line are going to have to worry about. Yeah, like you said, one wrong move, brush that wall, and the car feels completely different. So just got to stay out of it and still get as much defense off as you can.
All right, lights are out on the pace car. We expect to go green flag racing this time by. 2 incidents for caution out here this evening. Chris Stamper on pit road with some damage being repaired. So that number 53 Ford Mustang pace car going to be down and out of the way. Larry Yingling, the control car, takes the inside lane here for this restart. A mirrored image of what the first 2 starts have been.
Great, well, not a great, but a mirror image for sure, as Larry Yingling is able to get the run off the start here and able to get a decent gap going into 1, but that gap's going to disappear as the rest of the pack forms up coming out of turn 2.
Take a look at Cedric Hunter on the exit of 2. He's able to slide by Thomas Green, and he's going to poke a nose towards the front of the field, try to get a bonus point for the number 7 Toyota Supra. Cedric Hunter comes into tonight just 9 points back, trying to make it 8 at the line. It may still be Larry Yingling who led that lap, but it was pretty close there at the stripe. This time by, he's going to try it one more time in turns 1 and 2 on the inside of the 67.
Yeah, that 67 just barely beat him out to the line there. And you know, like you were saying, all these drivers up here in the championship are going to be real hungry for as many bonus points as they get. So you're probably going to see a lot of aggression like Cedric Hunter's running here, trying to clear the 67. But 67 is able to get a great defense off as Cedric tries to squeeze him. But unfortunately, the 67 is still going to be able to prevail over the 7.
Not going to be enough that time by for the driver, the Toyota Supra on the inside line. Got a Supra on the bottom, got a Mustang up on the top shelf of the Speedway. Ali Fonseca, who started dead last on the field out here tonight, qualified 3rd on speed, had to start 23rd out here tonight. Ali Fonseca has marched his way forward in a hurry, and for the first time this evening, Thomas Green is back in a little bit of traffic as he runs 4th, the points leader coming into tonight's race.
Yeah, the traffic does affect you a ton here at Vegas, especially with the dirty air being so detrimental in the corner to these cars. If you just get a little too close to the car in front of you, your car just starts to not be able to turn just because of the dirty air. So you're going to see a lot of drivers just poking either half their nose or a little bit of their nose out from the driver in front just to see if they can get a little bit of rotation out of the car.
Another couple of cars on the move here. Mike Miller up 4 spots from his qualifying attempts out here this evening. Started 9th on the board into the back half of the top 5 as we work lap number 17 of 150 out here tonight. Noah Steele up 5 spots from his qualifying position. Thomas Green kind of in a difficult spot right here. He's got Mike Miller up on the outside as another spot going to go to the wayside as another driver, Mike Miller, makes his way around the 3 of Green.
It's looking like that top line is pretty quick here, especially in 3 and 4. We heard Josh talking about that in pre-race, saying that 3 and 4 was really loose on the bottom of the track. So we're going to see a lot of drivers doing the late apex there into 3 and 4, and it seems to be working for a lot of them.
On board here with the driver, the number 3, Thomas Green. He's able to slot in behind the driver, the 99. That is Mike Miller directly in front of him. Gets a little bit of clean air on the front of that Chevy Camaro. Not able to do anything just yet with the 99 as he's now got Cody Reed not too far behind him. And we know that 25 has been fast all season long. Hasn't always had the finishes that Cody deserved throughout the course of the season. Comes in here tonight with only 3 top 5s for the driver the number 25, looking to pick up his first win of the season for Cody Reed. One of those drivers not eligible for the championship anymore, too far back on points, and that makes the job easy out here tonight, and that is just go up there and win the race. You don't have to worry about the points. Yeah, no distractions about any of the drivers around you or anything, just one goal in mind, and that's get to the front of the pack and win the race.
race. And, you know, that's what the majority of these drivers are going to be thinking out here tonight. So it's two different mindsets for the groups of drivers out here tonight.
Taking a closer look at the driver who came into tonight's race second in the points, Scott Richter, down a spot from where he qualified 8th out here, currently runs 9 on track. He's trailing Ryan Bird in that 49, Noah Steele directly in front of him, trying to gain a couple of spots here as Thomas Green is in a little bit of a vulnerable position at the moment. Also at the moment, we've got a battle once again happening for the race lead, but if these guys don't get it sorted out here before too long, you're going to have a 3-car battle, and Ali Fonseca also going to be looking for a bonus point as well. So battle for the lead and more coming behind.
Yeah, we saw the 7 trying to pack some air on the rear right of the 67, trying to get as much of a pull as he can on the backstretch with the side draft. And it seems like most of the pack is staying with the 7 as they all rotate back up to the top of the track to get a better entry. And you were just saying the 24 was about to catch up to the leaders, and they definitely did. The battling ends up really slowing the 2 cars down, so you want to really make your moves as quick as possible, and then you'll be able to make your move and get some time on the competitors. But the 24 got into the side of the 67 there in 3 and 4, and he just was able to move him out of the line, and he got very trained out of the wheel, unfortunately.
Contact between the race leaders. Larry England gets the door check from Ali Fonseca. Thought that was going to open up the door for Fonseca to lead a lap, but it actually gave Cedric Hunter that lap led to begin lap number 23, and we're about to see another shot at it here with Fonseca now to the inside of Hunter.
Yeah, Ollie's on a tear for sure. He is being super aggressive tonight. There's a lot on the line for this race, so I can't say I blame him in the position he's in.
Yeah, we saw a ton of aggression just now into 3 and 4 with him moving Larry out of the way, and Mike kind of giving him a little bit of a payback into 1 and 2, but it didn't really upset the 24 as Cedric's still looking to get to the inside, but 24 is prevailing on defense.
All of this means a whole lot of nothing if Thomas Green is running directly behind him, as well, by my math, Thomas Green is going to need to finish at least 5 or 6 positions behind the next championship eligible contender in order for any of it to matter when the checkered flag falls out here tonight, because he did have 7 points over Scott Richter coming into tonight's event, and then he also got that bonus point for the pole as well. So Thomas Green staying where he needs to stay here as we approach to complete lap number 25. At the front of the field is Fonseca, Hunter, and Green. That's the top 3 as they run right now. First battle. Side-by-side battle, I guess I should clarify. You got Noah Steele on the inside, Mike Miller on the outside. Got 2x2 on the exit of turn number 2. They're sandwiched in between the race leader of Fonseca and the 6th place car of Cody Reed by the time they get down into the 18 degrees of bank and into turn number 3, the south end of the Speedway. They're able to slot their way through. Everybody comes out the other side. Fonseca going to lead another lap here.
Yeah, and the 7 is kind of just getting ran back in the line. The drives around him are just choosing to stick together, and they're kind of getting the 7 into a bad position to where he's just falling back in the track.
Yeah, you see Noah Steele on the inside of Cedric Hunter right now. Tries to take the preferred line through 3 and 4. Steele on the bottom shelf of the Speedway tries to make a pass on Cedric Hunter. This would be for 4th place. Not able to make it happen that time on lap number 27. Now 28 being written as they drive. And Noah Steele going to try it again. Not close enough, but he's going to have to worry about Nick Renner in the 88 behind him and Cody Reed as well.
Yeah, Nick Renner just got a huge run out of 1 and 2 in that 88 machine. He's running that top line, seeing if he can get as much speed as possible out of that Chevy Camaro, and it seems to be working. He was able to gain a lot of time off of 1 and 2, not as much out of 3 and 4, but definitely was able to gain a lot of time out of 1 and 2.
Battles happening all over the Speedway and including the front of the field. Ali Fonseca being chased down by the points leader, Thomas Green, as they make their way down into turn number 3. Here's a pleasant surprise. Mike Miller up 6 spots from his qualifying effort. Mike Miller comes in tonight looking for his first win of the season, but believe it or not, it would be his first not even podium out here tonight. Long way to go before we start talking about that, but his first top 5 of the season if he can get a top 5 out here this tonight.
Yeah, and what a race to do that in. If he ends up finishing up there, it would be, honestly, if I were him, I would be happy no matter if I win the race or not, as long as I finish in the top 5 here at the championship race. It's I don't know. I would definitely classify that as a win.
He's going to take a little bit of a look to the outside of Thomas Green. He's going to fall back in line behind the Chevy Camaro down into turn number 1. Now Thomas Green able to protect second place, but not for long. Mike Miller gets a really good run on the exit of turn number 2. He's going to be side by side with the points leader by the time they exit turn number 2. Gives second place to Mike Miller, as he's now got the sights of the race leader directly out of his windshield. He's got Ali Fonseca in sight and closing quick. Last time by, he was a half a tenth faster than the race leader, Fonseca.
Yeah, we can see Mike is just doing a great job right now moving up through the pack. Like you said, he was up 6, I believe 7 positions now from his qualifying effort. And that's just a great spot to be in, especially hungry for a race win, not having to worry about any other drivers. You can really just focus on the car in front of you and see what they're doing and see how you can capitalize on that.
Don't want to break away from the action up front too much, but do want to keep a close eye on the championship contenders out here tonight. Scott Richter has found himself in a hole that he needs to dig out of here as we approach lap number 33 out here tonight. Currently runs 14th, the lowest of any of the championship eligible drivers, and he's got a ways to go if he wants to become a contender by the time the night is over. Scott Richter currently runs in 14th. Larry Yingling, after leading some laps not that long ago, had that hip check from the 24 of Fonseca, has found his way back down to 13th as well, Chris.
You got to wonder if there's maybe some damage from that from the hip check, and you know, you already had mentioned that the cars are so sensitive, so you got to wonder if that contact maybe knocks something out of alignment for the 67. Maybe the car feels a little different than it did in the beginning of the race, but definitely still got a hole to dig himself out of, like you were talking about before.
Luckily for him, he's got at least 3 green flag pit stops, perhaps 2 if drivers play it interestingly the way that they did last week, to try to find his way through, as we've been green flag racing here since lap number 11. 2 cautions for incident already in the early goings of tonight's Do It in the Desert 225 here in the Trinity Racing League, the championship race this evening. 18 races down on their schedule. We've been overseas at Motegi, Japan. We've been overseas at Red Bull in Austria. And we're settling it out here tonight, stateside at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Fonseca continues to lead. Lap number 35 in the books. Mike Miller now starting to get a little bit of pressure from Chris Stitz.
Chris Stitz able to look to the inside of Mike Miller now. Like we were just saying, Chris Stitz was really looking behind at Mike Miller. He was closing the gap, and now we see him trying to be aggressive, looking at the inside and seeing if he can capitalize on this position here.
It's going to be a difficult pass to make on the bottom, though, as you see Mike Miller hit the loud pedal, and he's able to drive off the corner. A little bit of help from Nick Renner from behind, getting a little bit of draft help on the corner exit there, but difficult pass to make on the inside line, because I mean, you really kind of need the entire track there, Alex, to put the power down and to make your way around the car that you're battling there.
Yeah, Mike Miller doing a good job defending that high side. His car seems pretty strong running that high line on corner exit. But Stitz doing a good job making his way up through the field after that, you know, that early incident with Stamper. his car seems to be holding up pretty well after that incident.
Yeah, and seems to hold up pretty well, even though we were just talking about how sensitive the cars are. His car seems to be holding up very, very well after that. No damage at all seen on that car, and I mean it was a pretty light tap, so hopefully he was able to come out of that pretty scot-free. And now we see the 88 looking to the outside, almost to the outside of the 3. The 3 is able to come up and just close off that run he had. We've seen a lot of positions being taken from the outside here in the 88. That car seems to be running the top line the best out of everyone here.
Yeah, the 88 of Nick Renner currently runs in 5th place. Not a name that has been a regular here in the Trinity Racing League. Just a couple of starts for Nick Renner, but currently runs strong out here tonight in the season finale of the Trinity Racing League. Thomas Green is able to get around Chris Stitz up on the outside. Renner's going to get up into the outside wall just a little bit. Green now into battle for 2nd place as he's going to try to chase down Ollie Fonseca. Cedric Hunter's going to go around directly behind this field with Josh Stovall as well.
Yeah, a lot of contact from the 1 and the 7 there. The 7 seems to have brushed the wall just a little bit after that. Hopefully he's going to get off pretty scot-free, like I was just saying about the 88. But hopefully the 7 gets off scot-free here and is able to keep his battles into the championship here.
All right, let's take a look at this incident here. Didn't see any immediate damage on the number 7, but on board with Josh and the number 1 machine. And we're going to have to take another look at that. It kind of looks like Cedric comes up there just a little bit, but before we put our foot in our mouths, we'll grab another look. But issues for one of the championship contenders and also Josh Stovall, as that's going to relegate him back to the 22nd place here. Let's grab a close look here at Cedric, see if we can see any damage on that number 7. I think he got away pretty lucky through that incident.
He's definitely got some damage on the front right, but other than that, the car seems to be fine. You can see a lot of camber on the front right of the car, but other than that, the car seems to be okay. Hopefully that's just a case of let's bring it down pit road, adjust some of the suspension components, and pull out the fender here and make the car able to drive fine. So probably get to see a little bit of that from the pit crew and pit lane.
We're going to get another look at this before drivers make their way down onto pit road. We anticipate to see the majority of the field come down onto pit road this time by. And yeah, it looks like the 7 maybe just comes up half a lane, and Josh had already had a nose there, and that results in the 7 getting put into the outside wall as the field is on pit road for the first time.
Yeah, might have thought he was clear, but just not clear of the 1 there, and unfortunately the contact was made.
I don't think he realized how strong of a run the 1 car had right there in that situation, because he had quite the run coming off of the corner.
Cody Reed going to slide through his box, has to back up in order to get service on that 25 machine, and he still might be a little bit too close to the left side wall to get service. But the rest of the field, 4 tires up, 4 tires down, a couple of drivers already moving. Fonseca looks like he's going to win the race off of pit road. It's going to be Fonseca, Green, Miller, Renner, Stitz, Reed, and then it's a blur from there.
Great race off pit road from that little pack right there. There was about 4 cars right next to each other.
All right, so let's mark that in the little memory bank out here tonight. They're a little bit short on fuel. We already know that fuel was about 50 laps out here for the majority of these drivers. Came down on lap number 42 for the first time. Now you got to start to think, this is going to put them about 8 laps short for the end of the race, assuming nothing changes between here and the checkered flag. But this kind of takes the fuel strategy out of it.
Is the fuel run 50 laps or so, or is it more than that?
Well, Josh told us 53 before, so.
Yeah, so I feel like they still should have to go in towards the end of the race, because I think it was either one. I think it was 140 for them. So I think they'll still have to go in one more time.
Well, it's probably going to be at least 2 more times, right? Because they're on lap number 42, excuse me, lap 43 right now. They pitted on 42.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's going to bring them down around, you know, say 95 to 100, and that's kind of stretching it there. And then we've got a 50-lap run to the finish.
Yeah.
Lights are out as we're pacing around here for the 3rd time this evening. The front row this time is made up of Ali Fonseca, the driver who took a pre-race penalty, already up to the front of the field. Remember, let's not forget, drivers do get a bonus point for leading the most laps out here tonight. So Ali Fonseca looking to secure a secondary bonus point out here tonight. And oh yeah, we're also approaching the halfway marker of the race as well, and that is a bonus point here in the Trinity Racing League as well. But pace car down and out of the way. We're into the restart zone for the 3rd time this evening. Fonseca going to hit the loud pedal. Everybody comes up through the gears, 4 gears strong at the start finish line. It's Fonseca, and then Green's able to get around Mike Miller for 2nd.
Yeah, Thomas Green got a real great restart there. You saw him right near Ali Fonseca's bumper. It's pretty hard to do that on iRacing, and he was able to get up to the top of the entry of 1 and able to get the preferred line into the corner.
Thomas Green rips around the inside lane by the time they get through turns 3 and 4. Mike Miller puts on the chase for 2nd place. Chris Thitz just outside the top 3 as they run right now. Noah Steele rounds out the top 5 here as drivers complete lap number 45 here in tonight's event. Multiple drivers towards the back of the field. Josh Stovall, Cedric Hunter, both of those drivers already moving forward after their most recent contact caution.
Now we see Thomas Green looking to the inside of Ali Fonseca, able to get there and might actually be able to clear off the corner, moved Ali up slightly up the track and was able to keep his preferred line and get a good run off the corner. And now we see Thomas Green on the top of the ticker board for the start of lap 47.
Thomas Green takes away a bonus point for a lap led out here tonight, so 2 bonus points in the bank for the points leader coming into tonight's race. 1 for the pole position, 1 for a lap led, as he's got a big battle happening directly behind him here between the 99 and the 24. Fonseca trying everything that he possibly can to hold on to that 2nd place running position. Dirty air on these machines, so hard to work your way around other cars, and every spot you lose, it gets just a little bit worse than the next one.
Yeah, and we're probably going to see no breaks from the 2 drivers behind for each other. They've already had a little bit of going at it before in the race, and now that they're battling again, you're probably going to see no holds barred from them, and the 24 kind of touched the 99, and 99 was loose off of 3, but was able to hold it off and keep it held into 3 and 4.
See the multiple lines being used around here with Green on the inside, Fonseca. Anywhere Green is really not. That's the line that Fonseca is taking. Anywhere he can find clean air is where he's putting that number 24 Chevy Camaro. This time by, he's going to run about a half a lane higher than Thomas Green. Try to get the run on the exit of turn number 2. He's going to have a little bit of a run, but so does Mike Miller. They're going to be too wide by the time they enter down into turn number 3. Battle for the race lead. Fonseca puts a nose and a fender in front of Thomas Green through 3 and 4, but here comes Green back with the crossover.
Yeah, you saw Thomas drive down the track, get a little bit of an aero block on the 99, but also to the bottom of the 24, and still able to keep the run coming off of the corner, and now able to send it down into the inside of the corner, but has to let out to not get into the 24.
As we approach the 3rd way mark of tonight's event already, 25 laps to go before we see the bonus point being awarded here. The leader of lap number 75 going to get the halfway bonus sponsor award. And the championship could come down just to that. We were talking with Josh Ganata earlier tonight, and he was telling us that the track is doing some funky things out here in terms of how it's handling. It's, what did he say, tight on entry and loose everywhere else, including the straightaways?
Yep, he said tight on entry, loose in mid, loose off, loose on straights. So it's a pretty interesting pack that they're running out here tonight, and it's probably has to do with the track blaring down with that sun here in Vegas.
Well, it was 114 degrees track temperature earlier. Air temperature just about 77 degrees here this Monday evening. at Las Vegas, but track temperature being heated up by these O'Reilly machines that are currently on the track. Battle for the race lead starting to heat up once again. Mike Miller. I tell you what, Mike is having a great run out here tonight, looking to get his first win of the season, and he is all over the back of the race leader of Fonseca.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that he was really hawking that 24 down into 3 and 4. He was right up on the bumper trying to get as much of a run as he could into the corner, but was not able to make the space on entry, so decided to just lock in behind him and keep his position as they make contact into 1 and 2. Ali Fonseca all up into that outside wall. Same thing with Mike Miller. Huge trouble for those two cars here and more.
Fonseca involved, Thomas Green involved, Chris Stitz involved, and there's going to be more cars involved. We're going to have to take a look because this is a huge turning point in tonight's event. Saw Mike Miller taking a look to the outside of Ali Fonseca down into turn number 1. Was there any help anywhere? There was no help from Noah Steele. I thought maybe initially Noah may have had a little bit of contact in there, but left front to right rear. Cody Reed's going to get collected. Nick Renner may get a little bit of nose damage there. I think Larry Engling's going to get through.
Hard impacts by the 99 and the 25.
Yeah, huge.
See Cedric Hunter getting through there, barely on the bottom shelf of the Speedway. Josh Sawyer going to get through as well. Let's take a ride on board here with one of these drivers. Let's take a ride on board with Cedric Hunter, one of the championship contenders, coming into tonight's race and see exactly what the driver, the number 7, saw.
He just looked like he saw a bunch of trouble in 1 and 2, saw the car sliding up the track, then everybody ended up going down to the bottom and checking up, and we'll see if he's able to make it through here. I do believe he did, but all those drivers fanning to the bottoms is just a huge sign of a big wreck happening. So,
and I have really unfortunate news for the Ali Fonseca fans out there in the chat every week. That car is smoking, and that car is going to be headed to the hauler, and it is going to be night over and championship hopes over for Ali Fonseca.
Unfortunate break for the 24 machine out here, but I honestly couldn't tell what happened on that entry. It kind of looked like Ollie had a little bit of a decision paralysis into the corner. It kind of looked like he wanted to go down to the bottom, but then saw Mike Miller at the top of the track and may have decided to move up a little bit in front of him while Mike already had his corner set. So look, yeah, you see the 24 goes down and kind of just, I see the 99 have a run, kind of moves up in front of him. And at that point, there's not really anything that the 99 can do. You don't have any obligation to let out there. You have the line, so you can't really put any fault on the 99 there. And just an unfortunate break for the 24, especially chasing a championship break here out here tonight.
And you take a look at just how close Thomas Green got to being involved in that incident. He was able to make his way through. Mike Miller also on pit road with some significant damage. That's going to end his competitive evening out here tonight, as is Ali Fonseca still down on pit road. Cody Reed also on pit road. He's going to be missing a rear deck lid. And Chris Stitz also involved in that. He's got some heavy rear damage. I think the nose is going to be okay there. He may be able to get back out on track, but difficult pill to swallow there for Ali.
Yeah, definitely not what he wanted to see at this point in the race, especially with so long to go. Had a really good chance to just fend off his position in the front, but unfortunately had that incident happen between them. And honestly, it was a really bad break for the 99. Yeah, the 24 was in contention for championship, but Mike Miller was in contention to lead the race and have some lead laps out here tonight, and he was looking for his first win. So it's kind of unfortunate to see that happen to the 99.
You got to start to think that helps Thomas Green, obviously making his way through the incident without any damage, but now you've got a couple of cars retired from the race, and your opportunity to finish down in the 20s is now eliminated, as those spots are already taken and accounted for. So I do believe the lowest that Thomas Green could finish out here tonight would be 19th, and realistically probably higher than that, because Cody Reed is pretty heavily damaged rolling around this 1.5 mile surface.
Yeah, unfortunate break for a lot of these drivers after that incident here, but Lights are out on the pace car. He's going to make that hard left-hand turn into pit lane in about 2 seconds. I want to say right about now. Mistimed it, unfortunately. But Noah Steele and Larry Yingling are going to be your front row out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Loud pedal is down, and Noah Steele is the first one to hit it. Drivers going to be making their way down into turn number 1. Noah Steele, Larry Yingling, Thomas Green. That's how they run as they enter into the bankings of turns 1 and 2. Put Noah Steele out front. A bonus point for a lap led for Noah out here tonight for the first time.
Yeah, Noah's got a pretty comfortable gap in 3 and 4 here. Probably going to be able to use all the track he wants coming off the corner, and that's going to give him a good look behind if Thomas Green and Larry Yingling continue to battle. Might be able to bring a even more comfortable gap between them.
Noah Steele able to step out by about a car length, maybe 2, as the battle for second place still rages on. Thomas Green on the inside. He's going to forfeit that battle, at least for the time being, as they work their way down the backstretch here. Lap number 58 of 150. Now Larry Yingling thinks about taking a look to the outside of Noah Steele for the race lead. Going to have to step back and retry it next time by, as Noah Steele going to lead another lap out here this evening. But he's got company in the rearview mirror charging hard.
All 3 cars up front have gotten around I want to say a 0.2 second gap on the cars behind. And if there isn't any battling that stops from those cars behind, you might see a little bit of a leader breakaway between the first 3 and the rest of the pack, like we see sometimes here at the Trinity Racing League.
That's kind of interesting here. I mean, they've got the tires to use out here tonight. Kind of interesting. Nobody came down on lap number 42. I thought maybe we would have seen a couple of drivers stop just for maybe even just right side tires and fuel, and take some of the fuel strategy and maybe some of the fuel concerns out. But nobody was down on pit road, at least in this front battle. Josh Kanata came down on pit road for looks like he got 4 fresh tires, as well as Nick Renner also came down. A couple of drivers towards the back as well. Martin Morales Jr., Stephen Clapp, Josh Sawyer. So a couple of drivers running towards the middle of the field elected to come down, but the leaders all stayed out here. A little surprising on that side.
Absolutely, and strategy just plays a ton into every race in this series. I feel like that's like the main planner of these races is your pit strategy.
Battle at the front of the field. Noah Steele now on the inside. Larry Yingling looks to retake the lead, a spot that he had multiple times before in the course of tonight's event. Thomas Green has been quiet all season long, and through the first half of tonight's race, he has stayed within the top 5 almost all evening long, right where he needs to be. Got the 4 fresh tires coming behind him, though, in the 16 and the 88. It's going to be a battle between those 2 drivers to see who can get there first and make their way through the traffic cleaner. We got Renner on the inside, Josh Kanata up on the outside, and they're coming with a head of steam, but they're blocked in by the race leaders on about 9 lap older tires.
Yeah, you saw Nick Renner try to move Josh Kanata up the track a little bit, but it seemed to actually help Josh Kanata, gave him a little bit more of a run off the corner, able to clear the 88 on exit, and now Josh is going to be hunting for that second and first position here.
All this is happening, and the leaders are still side by side, making 3 wide on the entry into turn number 1. Got Steele on the bottom, Yingling in the middle, and Kanata up on the top shelf of the Speedway. Nick Renner thinks about making it a 4 wide situation by the time they come off turn number 2. Not going to happen just yet. Everybody still stays 3 wide down the backstretch. The momentum given to the top shelf of the Speedway. Josh Kanata on the 4 fresh tires. He's going to lead the 88 of Renner through the lead lap vehicles and take the race lead here.
Yeah, and we saw the 88 running that high line early in the race, and maybe Josh caught on to that, and he ran the high line on the I believe their new tires, and just able to make so much time on the pack here, and still climbing. And it would be a crazy feat to see Josh Kanata come out here and put on another great show at Vegas just after coming off a win at Phoenix.
Renner does a little bit of a slide job down into turn number 3 and 4. Josh Ganot, I think, maybe cut him just a little bit of a break through 3 and 4 at the start finish line. I want to say it was the 88 that got a bonus point for leading the lap. Other drivers on fresh tires coming as well. Martin Morales Jr. has found his way into the top 5, the back half of the top 5, that is, as he runs 5th. They're coming up on, I want to say that's Chris Stitz, not too far out in front of them. So some lap traffic going to become an issue here at about the halfway marker of tonight's event, but it is the top 2 breakaway right now with Martin Morales Jr. trying to make his way through traffic as well.
Yeah, and I think that's actually going to be the Cody Reed. Only reason why I know is because that rear deck lid was missing. You mentioned it before, but lap traffic is definitely going to be some implication for these few front drivers, and making your way around is going to be a little bit difficult, especially if he's in a bad spot for the corner. But it seems like the 2 leaders were able to make it around, and it's honestly going to be a struggle for the second pack here.
Yeah, second pack mainly gets their way around Cody Reed as he takes the top shelf of the Speedway, going to allow all the lead lap vehicles to go and do their thing. Doesn't want to become an issue or a factor in how this plays out up here. At the front of the field, it is the top 2 drivers that have pulled away by about a second over third place Noah Steele. Martin Morales Jr. on the move right now, but stuck in a little bit of traffic behind Noah Steele as he tries to find his way through. At the front of the field is still Nick Renner, though, by a quarter of a second over Josh Kanata, last week's winner at Phoenix Raceway. Tonight, the championship race, the final race in Season 2 of the Trinity Racing League here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. We begin lap number 69 out here this evening, as Noah Steele may have to give up that spot to Martin Morales Jr. And that is going to be a spot for third here, as he's going to get a little loose on the corner exit of 2.
And honestly, that's a name we haven't really said out here a lot in the Trinity Racing League, Martin Morales, or at least for the time that I've been here. He's having a great showing out here at Vegas tonight, coming up all the way to 3rd position and leading that second pack.
Drivers last on pit road for the majority of these guys. On lap number 42, the top 4 drivers, including Stephen Clapp, pit on lap number 54. So with about 50 laps in the tank, got to be thinking we're about 20 laps or so away from the green flag pit stops out here tonight. The potential for our first round of green flag pit stops out here this evening. Nick Renner leads, Josh Kanata in second. Martin Morales has made his way around Noah Steele and currently runs in 3rd. Thomas Green, the points leader coming into tonight's event, has slid back down here to 7th, but is still, let me fact check this, still the highest running championship contender.
And even being down in 7th, you know, Thomas Green is in a pretty comfortable position, especially having his points gap that he does. As long as he just keeps from dropping down the pack even more, he will be completely fine for this race here.
Possible issues here for Cody Reed, as I got a notification that Cody Reed has crashed on the track. This may be him coming to a stop. That may be what the notification for is. So probably not too big of an issue there, but do believe Cody Reed is going to be down on pit road. Actually, I see him with a meatball flag. Gotta wonder. We'll take a quick look here. I gotta imagine. I can't tell if that's Ollie's smoke or if that's Cody's smoke. But I'm showing a meatball on that number 25, and that means he is likely done for the evening.
I'm just going to take a wild guess and throw it out there that the back end got loose because, you know, having that much damage on the rear end paired with a high track temp, you know, that's just not great, especially if you're trying to even get a little bit of power down in the corner. So I'm just going to take a wild guess and throw it out there that the rear right might have got a little bit hot and the car went around and it maybe had some contact with the wall.
Next time by, we're going to see the halfway bonus point being awarded, and for the first time this season, Nick Renner is in position to grab it. Josh Kanata now just under half a second behind Martin Morales Jr. as they run. That's the top 3. Thomas Green still the highest running championship eligible contender. And let's take a look here back here real quick. Earlier, about 20 laps ago, Cedric Hunter had some significant damage with the outside wall as he tried to clear himself over. Josh Stovall has found his way back up inside the top 10, so potential for a bad night. Still going okay for the driver, the number 7.
And you mentioned the halfway point before, and I just wanted to bring a mention to our Apex 50 halfway bonus point sponsor. If you're looking for a fun and relatable sim racing content, follow SG_racing on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram and Twitch. Sam Garcia has you covered for that relatable content for you. We're gonna go to break here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the Do It in the Desert 225. We're gonna go to break and leave the action up to you guys here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on. Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
We welcome you back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway as drivers are completing lap number 84 of 150. At the front of the field, it is still Nick Renner, Josh Kanata at the front of the field as they continue their battle. This battle is not going anywhere. We brought you all the action through the commercials. You followed all the green flag battles here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Just past halfway in the season finale of the Trinity Racing League. And after tonight, it's going to be a little bit of time before the Trinity Racing League is back on the broadcast network. And we're going to be taking a couple of weeks off. And then we're going to be passing over the torch over to our friends at the Freaky Fast Broadcast Company as they cover Season 3 here in the Trinity Racing League. Going to be beginning early July is the anticipated start date. Josh Kanata, one of the main administrators out here, says the schedule is to come, and the broadcasters may have had a little bit of
issues behind.
There.
Issues behind. Sorry about to cut you off. There's issues behind for Noah Steele. He's getting real loose. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than it was. He got into the wall and came down in front of some of the pack there. But sorry to cut you off, Tom.
Noah Steele made a little bit of contact with the outside wall on the exit of turn number 2, but we continue on without issue as this race goes along, and we expect to see these drivers come down onto pit road here in the next handful of laps as we approach lap number 88 next time by, as this will be what we expect to be the final green flag stop of the season.
And going back to what you were saying before about Josh and the schedule for Trinity next season, it seems like he's gonna just drip feed it to the rest of the crowd here. They're gonna end up seeing a little bit of their schedule each. I believe it's each week. They're gonna see bits and pieces of it. It's a pretty interesting way to drop the schedule for Trinity Racing for them.
I tell you what, obviously we've got a long ways to go. We've still got a green flag pit stop to get through. But Josh Kanata, I was giving him a hard time all week. I said, you go out there and you win Phoenix the week that I'm not there. And I think he took that to heart because he is certainly showing up here tonight with the competitiveness in that number 16 Toyota Supra, as he has led a bunch of laps out here this evening. He's got Nick Renner chasing him down, or trying to, half second between race leader Kanata and Nick Renner in second as they run at the moment. Cedric Hunter, who had a moment earlier in the race, we thought he may have been in more trouble than maybe we anticipated. He currently runs in third. He's been able to drive his way up through the field as well.
Yeah, even with that little bit of damage, he was able to bring it right up back to third place and hunting for, if a win here. If he gets a win here, he's gonna be in a great place for that for the championship to win. I believe it would actually bring him into the top position.
Well, a lot of it's going to depend on what Thomas Green does. I mean, Cedric Hunter could go out there and win the race, and Thomas Green could finish second or third. And by my math, I've never claimed to be good at math, but I do believe that Cedric Hunter came in here tonight 9 points down, take a point away for the pole position award, so call it 10 points at the drop of the green flag. That was the difference between Cedric Hunter and Thomas Green. So Cedric Hunter could go out here and win the race, but he's still going to need some additional help in form of Thomas Green having some bad luck, and that's going to be difficult for Thomas Green to do, as he currently runs on the back half of the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, we heard Cedric wishing that bad luck on Thomas a few weeks ago, so maybe it'll trickle over here. It already happened at Phoenix, but maybe it'll trickle over here. So he kind of already got what he wanted, but not in the position that he needs to be in to win the chip, unless Thomas Green has something to happen to.
Never count out the possibility of mistakes through the green flag pit stops. I myself I've done a multitude of things getting on pit road, whether it's speeding or wrecking getting on pit road, or missing your box, or sometimes I've just driven through pit road not even paying attention to where your pit stall is, and then you have to drive around a whole nother lap. So green flag pit stops could determine who the champion will be out here this evening, and we are rapidly approaching the next round of green flag pit stops. Drivers last pit for the majority of the field on lap number 42. They can only go probably another 5 laps at the absolute most. Josh Kanata, Nick Renner, Nolan Hicks, and Stephen Clapp, they came down on lap number 54, so they're going to have a little bit more gas in the tank, and they could probably run to the back half of 100.
Yeah, and honestly, if you get to 100, you know you're kind of in a safe position for the end of the race. So as long as they come in around, I believe it's even actually up to 96. If they get in there by then, they should be good for the end of the race. That's if there's 140 laps. I can't remember if there's 140 or 150.
Well, it's 150 as it says on the timing tower there, my friend. But got a couple of cars already coming down. So just outside that window, Noah Steele, Isaac Shelley, Thomas Walter, Ben Kinney. A couple of cars coming down on pit road. Isaac Shelley going to slide through his pit box as more cars make their way onto pit road. But at the front of the field, Josh Kanata stays out, and he now has Cedric Hunter in the rearview mirror. Josh Kanata has slowed down just a little bit these past couple of laps. Last time by, Cedric Hunter was just over a 10th faster than the race leader, Josh Kanata. Cedric Hunter looks to retake the race lead out here tonight. Got a couple of bonus points earlier for leading a lap, and also the bonus point for the most laps led out here this evening. That's all going to come into play in the closing 75 miles of the Trinity Racing League season as Cedric Hunter takes a big look down to the inside of the 16 here on lap 97.
Yeah, I think we're honestly seeing a lot of those tires, the rear tires of the 88 and the 16 falling off here as they've been running the high line this whole time. Seeing Josh not able to get as much power down off the corner as he wants, and that's giving Cedric just a little bit of advantage every time off the corner. And you know, the top line is still good through the middle of the corner if you can get the power down, but as it all matters on the exit of the corner. If you can't get the power down and get a good run off, you're just going to get freight train on the inside of the corner. But it seems to be working pretty well through the middle as Nick Renner puts on a great show there and is able to get to the back of Josh Kanata.
A 3-car battle for the race lead. Josh Kanata in the race lead. Nick Renner was able to put the power down through 1 and 2, use that outside, kind of pinch Cedric Hunter down through turns 1 and 2. That gives second place to the 88 of Renner. He now sets his sights on the race leader of Josh Kanata as they make their way down into turn number 1. They're going to be 2, maybe 3 wide on the entry to 1. Nick Renner takes the outside lane again. Josh Kanata tries to close the door, not able to do it. Power to the outside lane right now with Renner up on the top shelf of the Speedway, but drafting help on the inside with the 7 and the 16.
Yeah, and Josh is hoping for a little bit of a mistake from the 88, and he might have just got it there with the 88 getting to the wall, but still has a really good run coming off the corner even after brushing it, and Josh is really just gonna be praying for a mistake here as Cedric looks to make it 3 wide, but the 88 comes down and really gets the 7 arrow tight, and the 88 gets loose again and comes right back up the track in front of the 77.
If I'm Josh Kanata, I'm pitting this lap. I just lost the race lead. I'm coming down this time and gonna let these 2 drivers battle it out directly in front of me. He's gonna stay out for at least another lap here as they continue their way through. But Nick Renner now to the front of the field, well within the fuel mileage window of tonight's race. Couple of drivers, Nolan Hicks, Noah Steele, Ryan Bird, Martin Morales Jr., all on and off pit road for 4 tires in service.
Yeah, and again, off of 3 and 4, we saw Josh get a little loose on the exit of 3 and 4. And, you know, I think that just goes to show that those right side tires are definitely getting worn down.
On board here with last week's winner, Josh Kanata currently runs in 3rd. Got a little bit of breathing room before Thomas Green in 4th becomes too much of a factor for Josh. He's got about 0.3 of a second between himself and the championship leader coming into tonight's event. Josh Stovall in the number 1 Chevy Camaro. He's on pit road for service. So we're starting to see some hands out the window, drivers beginning to make their green flag pit stops, but these guys are in a mess of cars out here right now with fresh tires and old tires all up in the mix.
Yeah, we saw Nick Renner bring it down into pit lane from the lead, and you're probably going to see a lot of people start to come down as we see Larry Yingling in the background coming down as well. We're probably going to see pretty much everyone start to cycle down within these next 2 to 3 laps.
Larry Yingling is the next one to make his way down to the attention of his pit crew as Thomas Green, through this round of green flag pit stops, has been able, well, I guess Nick Renner did pit a lap ago, but Thomas Green has been able to drive around the overall race leader at the moment, formerly Cedric Hunter, now Thomas Green. As they cross the start-finish line, that's going to put us within 45 laps to go next time by, so well within the window of what these drivers are able to do on fuel. But you see these drivers sliding around back here. Josh Kanata had to turn that wheel probably about 90 degrees to the right to keep it pointed in the right direction on the exit of corner number 2. We'll see if any of these guys come down to pit road this time, and Thomas Green's going to come down.
Thomas is going to also bring Cedric right behind him down into pit lane, and that's the two out of 3 of the championship drivers still left in this race who just came down pit lane right now. Oh, and there's Scott Ricard right behind him.
Do not get caught speeding here. This is the absolute worst time to have an opportunity to get caught speeding on pit road. This could end your championship hopes. We saw him flirting with 57, 58 miles an hour. The race off of pit road is going to be the one to watch. Cedric Hunter, Thomas Green, Scott Rickard, all on pit road right now. At the front of the field, it is Stephen Clapp, Josh Kanata, and Noah Steele on track at the moment. They all have to come back down, but it's going to be Thomas Green winning the race off of pit road. We'll keep a close eye for any penalties.
Stephen Clapp still up here trying to defend off Josh Kanata from the lead here. I believe Stephen's trying to look for a bonus point here, unless he already got it last lap. But Josh is going to be just about a half a second behind the 9 here, trying to keep his wheels under him and keep the car pointed in the right direction.
All those drivers that were just down on pit road, everybody seems to be clear. No speeding penalties for any of those drivers that were just on pit road. Now that's going to pass the responsibility over to Stephen Clapp, Josh Kanata, Noah Steele, and Nolan Hicks. Nolan Hicks came in tonight just outside. There was 4 drivers that were pretty close to each other. Nolan Hicks came in tonight 17 points down and needing some help in order to become a championship eligible driver by the time the night was over. Nolan Hicks up 13 spots from where he qualified. No wins, or excuse me, 1 win on the season, 6 top 5s, 9 top 10s for the driver, the number 86 of Nolan. And gonna need some help here in the closing 42 laps of tonight's event in terms of trying to find his first championship here in the Trinity Racing League. Stephen Clapp on and off of pit road without issue, as Thomas Green still the highest running championship eligible driver. Next one that he's got in his rearview mirror is going to be Cedric Hunter, who currently runs 2 spots behind him, 7th versus 9th between those 2 drivers. Scott Rickard came in here tonight 2nd in the points, runs 11th on the timing charts right now. He's already made his final stop. And Ali Fonseca, we already know what happened to Ali earlier in tonight's race, out on lap number 53 for Ali Fonseca.
Josh is going to bring it down pit lane here from the first place position. You know, he's got about an 18-second gap on Noah Steele, and that's just going to close like it's nothing here while he's down pit lane. And we're going to see the 8 cycle up to the front, but Josh is going to be on the best tires out of the field, I believe, out of anybody who's pit. And, you know, sometimes that can be a really good spot to be in, especially at a track like Vegas where the tires are so important.
It can be. I think the danger here is that he's going to lose a bunch of spots here, as most of the field's going to make their way around him here. Stephen Clapp has already gotten around him. Thomas Green, Cedric Hunter, Josh Stovall, Larry Yingling, and more. I think the danger here is that he is going to be, it looks like he's going to be 12, 13, and actually maybe 14 seconds to Thomas Walter and 16 over Nick Renner, who was the race leader prior to all these green flag stops happening early. So that leaves,
so he's definitely in a bad position. Go ahead.
I was going to say that leaves us with two drivers at the front of the field: Noah Steele, Nolan Hicks. These drivers last came down 94 and 99. Noah Steele is on the outskirts of what we think he can run on fuel. This is going to make him run 56 laps. We heard 53 earlier. Nolan Hicks pit on lap number 99, so that's going to give him a 51 lap run. So that is comfortably within the window, I suppose, for the driver in second place. Nick Renner was on pit road at lap number 102. So some split strategies at the front of the field.
Yeah, very split, as well as split between the times. So we're probably going to see, we're going to have to look a lot at the relative to really see how these drivers are capitalizing with their pit stop strategies, especially with everybody being so spread out at this point.
Well, last time by for the race leader, Noah Steele, was a 32.5. Fastest car on track last time was actually Cedric Hunter with a 31.74. So about 7/10 of a second, maybe 8/10 of a second faster on 10-lap tires. So that right there tells you the benefit of having the tires. But problem is Cedric Hunter is 8.5 seconds back.
Yeah, and it's a hard feat to overcome, especially even being on way newer tires. It's a hard feat to overcome, being 8 seconds back. It's kind of like a mental gap as well. You gotta just focus up and make sure you're seeing that ticker go down.
And then Josh Kanata was one of the last drivers to come on pit road. He is going to be, Josh is going to be a ways back. He currently runs back into 14th place after pitting on lap number 109. So he's got about a 19-second gap, but 15 lap better tires than the drivers in front of him. He's going to be able to close the gap on the cars that are immediately in front of him, but I'm not sure that Josh Kanata on lap 115 and 150 out here without any additional help in terms of yellow flags in the closing portions of tonight's race is going to be able to do anything in terms of contending for a win here in the closing laps of the Trinity Racing League.
Yeah, and hoping for a late race caution at this point, and with how I just mentioned how everybody's pretty spread out, it's kind of like a pray to God, to be honest. It's a real gamble for that late race caution to come out.
In just a couple of laps time, we're going to see 30 laps to go over the Speedway in the final race. 18 races have gotten us here. We started at Echo Park Speedway for the duels and the clashes and the first points race of the season. We've seen the super speedways, we've seen the road courses here, and we've seen the tempers on the short tracks in the Trinity Racing League. But we have found our way here tonight to the 1.5-mile cookie cutter concrete asphalt surface of Las Vegas Motor Speedway as these drivers get set to settle out a championship here in the closing portions of tonight's race. Thomas Green still in the best position to walk away with the trophy at the end of the night. Cedric Hunter is his next closest competitor, who currently runs in 6th, make it 5th as he gets around Ryan Bird.
And Cedric is slowly closing that gap. He's only about 5.5 seconds now. And the last time we were talking about Cedric, he was about 8.5. So slowly closing that gap. And if he's able to make it up to the front, he's going to be in a great position here. And see Nolan Hicks is taking that position from Noah Steele up at the front of the pack.
Nolan Hicks came in here tonight 17 points behind Thomas Green, the points leader. And with Thomas Green running well inside the top 5, he's going to need a little bit more help than that. Nolan Hicks already got a win on the season, and multiple top 5s to show for it, but the playoffs have not always been kind to the driver of the 86, as he came in here within striking distance of the championship, but maybe just outside of realistic hopes. He's going to need Thomas Green and Cedric Hunter to both have issues in the closing 30 laps of tonight's event. But at the front of the field, Nolan Hicks is doing everything that he possibly can as he just made his way around Noah Steele for the race lead and now drives away by a half a second over second place Steele.
Nolan Hicks still seems to be making that gap a little bit longer each and every lap between him and Noah Steele. Catching the 42 of, I believe that's Mark Labertone, it's going to cause a little bit of issues on that time gain for Nolan Hicks. But once he gets around him, that ticker will probably keep going up.
Race leader tries to get around the lap vehicle of Mark Labertone, currently runs in the 15th place running position. He's going to be able to get around him. That's going to open up the window between Noah Steele and Nolan Hicks, as these drivers now have about 2.5 seconds, a little bit over 2.5 seconds to the third place runner of Thomas Green. Nick Renner currently runs in fourth. The top five is rounded out by Cedric Hunter. Josh Kanata, who was on pit road the latest of anybody, he has made up a little bit of time. He was 19 seconds back the last time we spoke about Josh Kanata. Now he's within 12 seconds, but you got to start to think that those tires are going to start to give way, and that 12-second gap that he's got to the race leader going to be a hard challenge to try to close over here in the next 27 laps, the final 27 laps of the Trinity Racing League season. And he's got some work out in front of him, and I think he's going to need some help if he wants to contend for a second win in a row here in the Trinity Racing League.
Yeah, I think Josh's main goal out here tonight is just going to be climb as far as he can into the top 10. Maybe not look for a win, but climb as far as he can into the top 10 since he's only 2 seconds back from 10th place of Stephen Clapp there.
Josh Stovall, Ryan Bird, Scott Rickard, all having a pretty good battle. This is a battle for the 6th place running position. Scott Rickard looking to get any possible spot that he can in the event that we do get a late race yellow flag out here this evening. Get down pit road just a little bit closer to the leaders if we do get a yellow flag in the final 25 laps of tonight's event. And we've seen some crazy things happen at the end of these Trinity Racing Leagues races, Chris. It's certainly been a lot of fun to watch over here over the past couple of months, and these guys are getting set to close out here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think for me, the most memorable late race incidents that we've had here is definitely at Martinsville with Tyler Reif just running people over. I think that was just a crazy, crazy ending to the race. Definitely not something that a lot of those drivers enjoyed who got ran over, because I would definitely not be happy either, but it's definitely entertaining for us to watch up here in the booth.
Yeah, Ali Fonseca picked up his one and only win of the season at Martinsville in that thriller of a finish at the Paperclip over, I believe that was the 13 of Reeve at Martinsville. But fun races to watch here all season long. Next season, the Trinity Racing League going to be hosted by the Freaky Fast Broadcast Company. We'll grab a link to their channel, throw it in our chat so you can head on over to their page, like and subscribe, and follow all the action for Season 3 to come early in July.
Big wiggle from Josh Duvall there coming out of 1 and 2. You got to wonder if maybe that was some of the arrow of Bird coming up and making the car a little bit upset, but got a little loose, and now he's got to focus on making that time back up from the time he lost.
At the front of the field, nothing has changed. We're keeping a close eye on it. If anything happens up there, we're going to bring you right to it. It is still Nolan Hicks being chased down by Noah Steele. Just over a second in between first and second place. Thomas Green trying to close within 2 seconds of the race lead. But in a race like tonight, it doesn't matter if you win or finish third. He's in position to walk away with the championship trophy at the end of these next 22 laps out here this evening. Had a great season so far. Already 3 wins on the Trinity Racing League Season 2 schedule. And looking to walk away with the championship trophy here this evening.
Yeah, I think Thomas is just kind of being comfortable and just riding it out from where he is. As long as he stays where he's at, or even I believe it's up to like 11th position or something like that. He will be completely fine to win this championship race. So it's a great spot to be in if you're the number 3 car out here.
Nolan Hicks has picked up just a little bit. Last time by was about a 10th faster than second place Noah Steele. So now make the difference in the delta between first and second. Just under a second and a half between those 2 drivers. Nolan Hicks having a great run out here tonight. Up 16 spots. Don't want to overshadow what the driver of the 86 Toyota Supra has been able to do out here tonight with the talks of the championship. But up 16 spots here to find himself in the lead with just 20 laps to go. Nolan, the winner at Michigan, all the way back in February. We got to go back about 3 months before we find, or until we find the last time the 86 was in victory lane. And that was a fun one to watch out there as well. And he's got 20 more laps to go, make it 19 at the line for win number 2 of the season.
With only 19 to go, we still see Thomas Greens being aggressive out here on track, trying to maybe get back up to the lead and show how dominant he can be in this league, win the championship race as well. But he was able to get past Noah Steele, and now he's setting his sights on the 86 in front of him.
I tell you what, there's something special about coming out to a championship race. And granted, they're not using the highest finisher of the 4 or 5 or whatever that NASCAR has traditionally used over the last however many years. But there's something special about coming out to a championship race, winning the championship, and giving yourself the opportunity to win the race overall that night as well. And that really just cements a great season, both in terms of wins and consistency for wins.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I think the impressive thing about that would be the consistency, and it's because a lot of people underestimate how hard it is to continue to be consistent in just sim racing or racing in general. And honestly, I was one of those people in the beginning when I started. I didn't realize how important the consistency was of finishing races and actually getting the laps under the car. So it's really just a great showing of how you can be consistent and how much experience you have on the track.
Gonna jump around, find some battles happening out on the track. Stephen Clapp currently in a little bit of a 3-car battle. You got Mark Labertone up against the outside wall. Lap vehicle currently runs in 13th, but he's trying to chase down Ryan Bird. This would be for the 7th place running position between these 2 drivers if he's able to do anything. With the 49 Chevy Camaro directly in front of him. They're going to get super close on the entry to turn number 1. Not make any contact, but very close here in the closing laps of tonight's event, as there's going to be a little bit of a sideways on the exit of turn number 2 between these 2 drivers.
Yeah, it looked like the 9 just got a little bit of power down, tried to clear the 49 off the corner, and the car just got out from under him. Maybe a little bit of contact as well, because it was pretty close. The margin of error was very, very thin, but a little bit of a slide from the 9, able to keep it under him and just get back right into the position he was last lap and hunting the 48 down. 49, sorry.
Ryan Bird able to get around Stephen Clapp once again. We'll jump back just a little bit. Josh Kanata, Larry Yingling going to battle over what would be 9th place here. Josh Kanata has made his way around the 67. So a top 10 possibly to close out the season for Larry Yingling. Let's not count out the number 3 here in the closing 14 laps of tonight's race. A 10th and a half faster for Thomas Green that last time by. And he is going to be, he's starting to close that gap. He's almost within a second of race leader Nolan Hicks.
Yeah, and I believe the last time we were just talking about that, it was almost about 2 seconds of a gap. So that gap is, in fact, closing between him and Thomas Green. Thomas Green is really hunting.
The one driver that I do want to keep a close eye on in the closing laps of tonight's race is Noah Steele. Noah Steele pitted on lap number 94, the earliest of almost any driver in the field, and I got to wonder if he's going to be okay on fuel or not. Because we heard earlier that fuel mileage was about 53 laps, and that is pushing him just outside of that. It's giving him into about the 56 range here in the closing laps of tonight's race. But Nolan Hicks, that time by was not as Thomas Green wasn't as faster. He was about a half a tenth faster that time by. Still closed in just a little bit with the lap car of Ben Kinney in between the two.
Ben Kinney looks like he just went down to the apron to let Thomas Green by and continue to hunt for that lead here. Not sure if he brought it down pit lane. That's what happened there.
Let's take another look here at Scott Richter, the driver that came in second in tonight's race. 7 points behind the championship leader, Thomas Green. Has had an up and down night all evening in that number 05. Currently runs in the back half of the top 5. Currently runs in 5th. He's got Josh Stovall breathing down his rearview mirror in the closing 15 miles of racing to go out here in the Doing in the Desert 225 in the Trinity Racing League. And I do believe he's going to need some help in terms of a yellow flag to finish out tonight's event if he wants a chance to walk away with the championship trophy. He's got Thomas Green 3 spots in front of him, and that is the driver that everybody had their eye on coming into tonight as the points leader. And he is just less than 15 miles of racing to go from his first championship in the Trinity Racing League. That time by, he cut into Nolan Hicks quite a bit there. He's now within 3/4 of a second between himself and the race leaders. We've got 9 laps to go. This is the difficult part, though, is Thomas Green has to kind of manage how much does he push the car here, how much does he try to go for that win, and how much does he kind of just ride these next 9 laps out, and that's a question that he needs to answer himself.
Yeah, it really just depends on how hungry he is for the win, to be honest. If he's really looking to really show out and show that he was the most dominant in the season, really prove it, then he's gonna try to get as much time as he can on that 86. But and honestly, we're kind of seeing him do that with how much he's gaining on the 86 here.
Yeah, last time by, over 0.2 of a second faster for Thomas Green, the lap number 141, just under a 10. We'll see what it is as they cross the stripe at lap number 143. That time by, again, just under a 1/10 of a second faster for the second place runner, Thomas Green. Now, granted, he's getting a little bit of draft help here, but he is now within a half second of the race leader, Nolan Hicks.
Yeah, I think Nolan's car might be struggling on entry of corner because you're seeing that's where Thomas is gaining easily the most time. Maybe Nolan Hicks's front right is worn out a little much, where he has to let off the corner early so the car doesn't push up.
Well, Nolan Hicks last came down on pit road at lap number 99, whereas Thomas Green came down at 104. So 5 lap better tires for the driver, the number 3, than the 86 here. Mark Labertone going to make his way around, lap down Thomas Green. And now Nolan Hicks is really starting to back up to him here as we approach 5 laps to go.
With only 5 to go, you're definitely going to see Nolan Hicks go on a little bit of the defensive here. Not sure how much it'll be effective because of the tire difference between them two, but definitely going to look to defend his leading position here. He wants to win this race.
High 5 over the Speedway this time by. Thomas Green tries to chase down the driver, the 86, directly in front of him. Now within a half a second last time by. Another half a tenth knocked off here. This time we're going to see 4 laps to go. And I think Nolan Hicks has the benefit of the doubt here, knowing that Thomas Green has to keep in the back of his mind, how hard does he race Nolan if he does get there? He's been fast enough to get there over the last couple of laps, but how much risk does Thomas Green take And I think Nolan Hicks has got to be thinking that that is a benefit to him in the closing laps out here. We're going to see 3 laps of racing to go next time by, looking for his 2nd win on the season for the 86.
See the 86 not go all the way up to the wall there. Maybe had a little bit of an idea of crossing past and trying to make the 3 a little tight on the corner there, but didn't really utilize as much room as he had on the track there. And now he's there looking defensive into 1 and 2 on the bottom of the track for the 3 car.
That time by out at 2. It is now 0.2 of a second between race leader Nolan Hicks, 2nd place Thomas Green. We're going to see popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go over the Speedway for the Do It in the Desert 225 out here tonight. 2 laps to go at the start-finish line.
2 to go, and Thomas Green is closing that gap. You see him so close to that rear bumper. You could probably read the Chevrolet text on the front of that 3 car, and he's right there on the corner, looking to see if he can get as much speed as he can on corner exit. Not able to, as the 86 comes up and able to close his line off in the 3, is now sending it to the bottom of him in 3 and 4.
Green going to take a big look down to the inside of 3 and 4 as we approach the white flag out here in the Trinity Racing League. 1 lap to go in the Trinity Racing League Season 2 schedule. Thomas Green going for a win and the championship. Nolan Hicks trying to go for his 2nd win on the season here at Las Vegas. Through 1 and 2, Nolan Hicks protects the bottom, puts a little bit of dirty air on the 3. They're going to come up and almost make contact on the backstretch here. Into turn 3 they go for the last time, Chris.
Very close onto contact there. We saw the 86 not wanting to give that top line up, and now he's there. He's able to get the run out of the corner if he gets the tires to stick, and he does, and he's able to cut down in front of the 3 and get the win here for the last race in the Trinity Racing League. Almost said Cyber.
Nolan Hicks going to pick up his 2nd win of the season. Thomas Green going to pick up the championship out here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Congratulations being handed all around here for these 2 drivers out here tonight. Nolan Hicks, the overall race winner. Thomas Green, the Season 2 champion in the Trinity Racing League, as the field of drivers come up to congratulate both of these competitors out here. 18 races, and that's the view that these 2 drivers have at the end of the season. A lot of congratulations, a lot of respect being handed around from all competitors.
What a great ending for this season here, showing the sportsmanship as well. Everybody coming through and giving him the bumps. Just great sportsmanship. Great season all around for the Trinity Racing League here.
Thomas Green going to come around and begin his celebratory burnouts as he gets set to etch his name in the Trinity Racing League history with the championship out here tonight for his 3rd. He had 3 wins on the season and was able to walk away as the champion out here this evening. And there you see it.
That's a great shot right there. That's actually such a good shot.
As these drivers begin their celebrations out here tonight, we're going to step away for just a moment. We're going to grab a word with your season champion, your race winner, and also the 3rd place finisher, Cedric Hunter, out here. Thomas Green walks away as the champion. All right, we welcome you back here to the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Celebrations well underway here. We're going to go 3, 2, 1 out here this evening. We're going to grab our third place finisher out here tonight, Cedric Hunter. He's caught up with my co-host, Chris Rose.
Cedric, how you doing out here tonight, man?
Good, man. Yeah.
Great race for that number 7 Hello Kitty machine out here. Though I got to mention it every time I'm on broadcast.
Yeah, it's good. I'm sweating bullets, man. We fought hard tonight. I needed a bit of luck on my end, you know, to have a chance at the championship. And honestly, when I saw that big wreck happen, kind of half-ish way through the race, I was in the back of the field, and I just kind of came around too and saw a bunch of cars wrecked, and I was a little bit of excitement there. I'm not gonna lie. And then when I saw it was mostly the front guys that wrecked out, with the exception of the person I needed to wreck out, I kind of figured that he was gonna probably walk away with it, and the chance of him getting caught up in anything were out the window. But hell of a championship for Thomas, man. Well deserved. He's a great guy and a really fast driver. So we'll just have to rack him, stack him, and come back next season, and then hopefully you know, get one better position.
You know, I was gonna say, I mean, your luck did end up going through, though. Maybe not in the way that you thought, but it did end up going through. You were able to come up and tie for second place with Scott Ricard for the championship. So definitely still a good showing for you there. It's not down in third, I think it was before. So you're able to end up tying it there. I was gonna ask you, how was the car feeling after that wreck there? We were up here in the booth, kind of deciding if it felt different or if it looked different. But I know you got into the wall there and had a little bit of issues. How was that from your perspective?
Yeah, just misjudged, I guess, where the car on my outside was and got myself into the wall. I had a minute of damage, but I got it all fixed right away, and I don't think it did anything. It was also like, that was kind of the transition from the first run where the track was clean and green to now we have rubber on track, so I can't tell if it was the damage I made it tighter or if it was just the rubber on track, but it definitely was a little tighter there on the second half of that race. I would have liked it to be just a tad more, you know, have a tad more turn, but car felt good. We marched our way after that through the field, and she got caught up, I guess, with guys that had fresher tires there, my teammate included, and it kind of held me back and brought Tom back in. And I mean, I guess it wouldn't have really mattered because the guy that Nolan ended up pitting way before us and won the race from it, so it was a hell of a strategy on his end. Yeah, I mean, hey, it was still good strategy for that 7 machine out here, though. It seemed to still be moving after that incident, so that was honestly just great to see for that number 7 car. But is there anyone you want to thank or shout out or anything like that for you? Yeah, man, huge shout out to my beautiful wife, just for putting up with all my racing stuff. Again, shout out to Thomas, well-deserved champion. Congrats to him. Congrats to Nolan for the win tonight. All the drivers and admins and everything that make this league possible, man. It's been a hell of a season. And I think that next season we'll put on even better shows, hopefully. So, and also thank you so much to you guys for everything that you guys do. It's going to be sad to see you guys go, but obviously I think that you guys also have other stuff going on. So completely understandable. We'll miss you guys for next season. Again, thank you for doing everything that you guys do, and to all the fans out there for tuning in. All right, and that's going to turn our attention to our second place finisher, Thomas Green, for you.
Yep, that's going to move us over to the season champion out here, Thomas Green. I tell you what, Thomas, you came in close. You almost got your 4th win of the season, but I don't think any of that matters when you're walking away with the big trophy and the championship at the end of tonight.
Yeah, I got to say hats off to Nolan there. That was a hell of a battle, and a perfect way to end the season. I mean, I'm sure you guys enjoyed it. It was a really cool finish, and he's a really stand-up dude, so it was a good win to him, and congrats on him for winning that race. Once I realized I kind of had a gap to Cedric, I was like, well, I don't want to compromise anything, but we have kind of a gap. I want to see if I can maybe get up there, and we started cutting it down a little bit, and I mean, yeah, he covered me off perfectly in 1 and 2, and then I kind of knew it just wasn't there, and then somehow I got there in 3 and 4. But once I entered 3 and 4, I was like, yeah, I'm either gonna door him and wreck us both, or maybe take him out for it, which I did not want to do. So I was like, I'm not gonna compromise anything. I just backed out of it and kind of just settled in there, knowing the bigger picture. So yeah, I mean, that was really cool. I mean, to finally win. I've been chasing the Monday night Trinity or ISRC or NAISCC championship, like all the different leagues that we've done on Monday nights. I've been chasing it since like 2021. So to finally get it is super cool. And, you know, I just am just super happy about it. I mean, this one means a lot to me. And, you know, shout out to Cedric too, because that was an awesome battle for the championship all season. I mean, it's always a pleasure racing him. And, yeah, it was really cool to battle it out with him too.
Yeah, it really was, and you really had a great playoff run. And I tell you what, I was talking with Chris and Alex before the start of tonight's race, and we said, well, you've got a little bit of a gap coming into tonight's race. It was 7 coming in, and then you got the bonus point for the pole award. So realistically, you had 8 points over Scott. But how'd you approach tonight's race? Was it kind of business as usual out there, or were you maybe a little bit more conservative, knowing that you were racing other cars specifically out here tonight and maybe more monitoring them than maybe even your own race at times?
Oh yeah, I the whole time it was definitely conservative. I mean, my goal was to try to go and get the pole, and then after I got that, I was just like, okay, now I can just manage my tires, because I mean, there was points where like I did a 45 lap run in practice and we blew a tire, so I was just being very, very careful with it, knowing, you know, I can manage my pace and just try to beat everyone on the long run. That was the bigger picture, and that's why like anyone tried to like get to my outside, I was like, I'm just gonna run the bottom. If you want to go around, you can go around. I'm just gonna manage my stuff and maybe get back to you later. If not, then I'll just try to just get them on the next run or whatever. Just try to have the good long run pace, because that's all that matters there when you have such a hot track like this. In this car at Vegas is just, it's an amazing combination, and it's because of, you know, you have to manage so many different things: dirty air, tire wear, all the draft stuff. Pit road is tough. You know, just all the different factors that go into it. And to win a championship, you got to execute all of them. So definitely just kind of pulled the reins back a little bit, just so I could make sure that we could lock it down. And it all worked out. So pretty happy with it.
It certainly did. So 3 wins on the season, almost 4 at the checkered flag out here tonight. Where does this rank? Some drivers dream of winning the iRacing Indy 500 or the iRacing Daytona 500 or a Daytona 24. Where does this rank on your list of sim racing accomplishments?
Yeah, this is my 4th or 5th technically league championship. One was on the NASCAR Heat game, so I don't know how much it really counts, but this one's definitely my favorite. Like I said, I've been chasing this one for like 5 years now, so it's really cool to finally kind of etch my name there, and you know, just have, you know, just to have it for myself to say like I finally, you know, broke out and did it. And you know, that's really special to me. Plus with this group of people, I mean, it's, you know, it's definitely my favorite group of people that I've ever leagued race with, and you know, it's been an honor to race everyone, and you know, everyone that was giving me bumps and congratulations and everything. It's, you know, I appreciate everyone. I've had a lot of ups and downs in life, and you know, especially recently, and everyone in the community has really helped me through a lot. So yeah, I mean, this one just means the world to me, just to, you know, just how special it is to be in this league and succeed like that. That's really cool. So definitely on the top.
Well, a big congratulations out here to you tonight. You come home second, but you get the big trophy overall. Thomas, anybody you want to say hello to, we're going to open up the floor for you one more time here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. The floor is all yours.
I just want to say a big shout out to you guys for the broadcast all season. Sadly, we won't see you guys next season, but I mean, just absolutely phenomenal. It's been an honor to have you guys broadcasting the races. You guys have put on an amazing show, and I always love watching them back. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys for doing this. I know it's not easy. You guys are taking time out of your day to do it, so I appreciate that. I want to say a big shout out to Cedric for that championship battle there. Same with Scott and Ollie, and everyone that was close there, you know, throughout the whole chase. Everyone raced very respectfully, and yeah, and shout out to everyone at Trinity for putting on these events too. It's, you know, it's time and money that goes into all of this, so I appreciate everyone. And I want to say a big shout out to Danny Cochran for making this paint. This paint's beautiful, and he's going to be joining us next season, and we have another beautiful paint in line for that, and I'm really excited about that. And big shout out to my girlfriend Anna for all love and support. She told me I had nothing to worry about and that I could do it, and I told her I'd try to go out there and get it for her, so I appreciate her very much. Thank you so much for all the support. I love you.
All right, that is your Season 2 champion. Thomas Green comes home second tonight, but walks away with the championship trophy. And that's going to bring us over to our driver that won the race out here tonight. Second win of the season. Alex Matheny is caught up with our race winner, Nolan Hicks.
Hey, Nolan, first of all, I want to say congrats on the win tonight. That was a great race for you and the Taco Bell Toyota Super Team. Take us through your mind in those the closing section of the race, those last handful of laps. Time's clicking down. The gap is closing between you and Thomas Green. What's going through your mind those last handful of laps, up until that battle right there at the end?
Well, thank you for the win. Yeah, what was going through my mind was I thought Thomas would be able to catch me, but I didn't think he'd get that close. I thought I could hold him off with the dirty air, but he was able to get closer and just have more of a overall better entry in both corners to run me down. So yeah, it was kind of pure panic towards the end there to hold him off. I just knew I couldn't let him get to my outside quarter panel, because then he would have just sucked me around and forced me to get out of the gas.
I figure your adrenaline had to be going absolutely haywire that last little bit. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to tonight? That might be out there watching you, rooting for you, just anybody along those lines?
Shout out to Thomas for racing me clean there at the end. I always respect him, and it's actually nice to get the best of him for once in a race when he's constantly getting the best of me. So glad to get the win. Shout out to my girlfriend who always loves and supports me. Shout out to you guys for putting on an amazing show over the season. Shout out to the race control in Trinity and everybody that raced in Trinity. A lot of chaos that happened, a lot of fun racing, and I'm glad that this finale was a nail biter towards the end to put on a show for everybody.
Absolutely. I figured it would be. I said that pre-race that that was gonna this race was definitely gonna be a nail biter, one to watch for sure.
He absolutely did.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, man, you might be psychic, because me starting P17, I was not feeling good coming into tonight, but just glad to get the win.
You might have put a little splash of Baja Blast in the tank of that last pit stop.
For sure, dude.
All right, and that's gonna bring us to, I believe Tom has caught up with Nick here, right?
Yep, yeah, so before we say goodbye to the Trinity Racing League on a Monday night, Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network going to be going dark, and we're going to be handing it over to our friends at the Freaky Fast broadcast for the season that's beginning in early July. But we've caught up with the race administrators here, Josh Kanata and Nick Crawford. Guys, just want to extend our gratitude and our thank yous for allowing us to be here. Any sort of advertising, any sort of, hey, how do you do's for next season, the floor is all yours, guys.
Yeah, so my OnlyFans is actually going to be... Just kidding. Just kidding.
It's been a long season. But it's been a very fun one. I mean, before we get into that, a huge thank you to you guys for putting up with us for an entire season, for putting on a great show. They've always been a lot of fun to watch, and you guys are a pleasure to work with. And as I said, you guys are more than welcome on track anytime. And who knows what'll happen in the future, but yeah, next season, Trinity Season 3, I think our first official race will be July 6th. We're going to be going to the High Banks of Daytona. Big surprise there. But next season, we're going to have a lot of new tracks, a lot of big changes that a lot of the drivers have been suggesting, with different rules, and obviously, as we said, the track selection, more short tracks has been a thing that a lot of people have been harking on. We have a few more of those for sure next season. it's going to be a fun one. It'll be kind of wedged between, as you said, early July and leading up to about Thanksgiving, out on Freaky Fast broadcast with Sam Dyer and Zach Hall up in the booth like they were in season 1. Some new faces, some old ones. We have a lot of work to do to prepare, but we're really looking forward to it. I know the drivers are looking forward to it, and it's going to be a fun one. Here's to the next one.
Yeah, Nick, we weren't able to see you on track all that often throughout the course of the season. Hoping that, maybe schedules change and we get to see you on track more in season 3 here. But how would you guys, maybe Nick, how would you compare season 1 to season 2? Any standouts or any breakout drivers over these past 18 races that really surprised you guys?
Yeah, a lot of the super fast guys kind of left and did their own thing. The main dominators, like a Vincent Sora, Jarrett Talmadge, those guys all kind of left from season 1, and they popped in here and there, but it allowed us to get, I don't know what you said, Josh, 13 different winners or 12, something like that?
Yes, 12 different winners out of 18 races, which is insane.
So there's a lot more variety, and I think we had a lot of pretty good moments, like when Thomas came back and won Talladega. That was a really good one of my favorite moments to watch the race control, and we learned a lot. There was a lot we were doing in season 1 when it came to race control. I wanted to try it and see if it's something I can do, and we figured out I'm not good with live race control, but I can review a YouTube video and make a call from that. So we changed that up, things like that, and we're going to take those changes and multiply them into season 3. So we got the rough one out of the way. We got the learning sophomore year. Junior year is going to be pretty good, and senior year is going to be even better. So, looking forward to the break, but I think season 3 is going to be pretty cool too.
Well, it's going to be a fun one to follow on the Freaky Fast Broadcast Company, beginning early July. And Josh, Nick, thank you guys for always allowing us to be here on a Monday night and be part of your guys' community. Here from the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, it certainly means a lot to us.
Been a pleasure,
yes,
guys.
Course. Yeah, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Chris, for coming on. Just short notice. Shout out to Ari. Hope she's doing okay. And Alex, I didn't get to see you much because I've been doing race control, but I've heard you on the mic too on the way home. So thank you for jumping in too.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, man, and I appreciate you guys for letting me come on and do this as like my first experience. It's something new, and it's really a big thanks to you as well, Tom, in entrusting me in this role, because being my first experience on this, I appreciate it for you guys.
Well, absolutely, and with that, I get the honors of kicking both Josh and Nick out of here. Get out of here! Get out of here! As the checkered flag falls over Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it is time to say goodbye from the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. But before we do, we've got the results out here this evening from the championship race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Nolan Hicks comes away with win number 2 on the season. Thomas Green, though, comes away with the championship. Cedric Hunter comes home with a 3rd place finish overall out here tonight. Noah Steele comes home in 4th. Scott Rickard gets a top 5 to finish out the season. Josh Stovall comes home in 6th with Stephen Clapp in 7th. Ryan Bird, Larry Yingling, and Josh Kanata, the top 10.
Looks like Samuel Garcia, P11, Martin Morales, P12, Thomas Walter in 13th, Joshua Sawyer 14th, Mark Labertone 15th, Ben Canay 16th, Nick Renner 17th, Isaac Shelley 18th, Cody Reed 19th, and Chris Stitz 20th.
21st place belongs to Ali Fonseca after leading tonight's race. Issues with Mike Miller on lap number 53. Mike Miller comes home in 22nd place, and Chris Stamper rounds out our field for the final race of the Trinity Racing League in 23rd place. Well, Alex, Chris, fans are beginning to make their way out of the stands out here, but thank you guys for being part of this on a Monday night, being here and committing to this, and it's been a lot of fun to do this over here at the Trinity Racing League with you guys over the past several weeks, and looking forward to seeing what happens in the future.
Yeah, man. And like I was saying before, I appreciate you letting me come on and do this as my first experience. It was a really good learning experience and a way for me to, I guess get better at speaking. You know, I still stumble over my words a lot, but it helped me get a little more confident in my speaking ability. So I appreciate you letting me come on and trust me in the role and teach me the ropes of this.
Same from here. It's been a blast and a privilege to come on here and do this with y'all and watch these guys in here duke it out on the track for the past couple of weeks in this closing section of the season.
And with that, it is time to say goodbye from the Trinity Racing League. We're going to leave you with the sights and the sounds of the Trinity Racing League and Thomas Green burning it down, doing his celebratory donuts here at the start-finish line of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll see you guys in the future.